I just heard the word Everest and I thought, I'm 100% sure I would never do that. We don't have anybody in my family and extended family and friends who have ever hiked a little hill. So I had no idea there is such a thing as a mountain climber or people do that before starting this project. Sara Safari. I was born in Tehran, Iran, and I moved to United States when I was 20 years old, which is 17 years ago. And I studied electrical engineering at UCLA. I did my bachelor's, I did my master's, and then I was working in different companies for a little while, and I realized this is not who I am. I want to change my life. I need to expand my life and do something different. I never slept in a sleeping bag. I kind of didn't have it, not even in my subconscious, to do such a thing. I've never seen anybody or never admired anybody who did such a thing. And then I was in a seminar 7 years ago, and the leader of the seminar said, come up with a project so big and huge, beyond yourself, something impossible, something that you can't even think of doing in your wildest dreams. I was sitting in my chair thinking, what's something impossible? Like, I wanted to be 100% sure I'm not going to pursue it. And somebody behind me were talking to her friend, and she said, oh, Suzanne climbed Everest. That inspires me, but I would never do that. But then since I was inspired, I came home and I Googled how to climb Everest. And the very first link, I clicked on it, I started reading, and it said it takes 60 days to climb Everest. I just closed my laptop and I left, and I thought, okay, forget it. I'll just do something else. I was thinking about that moment. I was thinking about, I had this opportunity to do something different, impossible, and I didn't even try. I didn't even take the first step. So I went back. There was a phone number. I called them and I said, I want to climb Everest. What should I do? And they gave me a whole list of 10 mountains. They said, well, you have to climb these 10 mountains and your performance has to be good and you need to do this and that. You might qualify for Everest. I failed a bunch of times, like so many times I failed. It's even more than the number of times that I summited mountains. I decided to stop after my climb in Ecuador. I didn't make it to the top, and I thought, this is it. I'm risking my life. This is stupid. I don't want to die. So I came back down and I was selling my stuff. I was kind of taking pictures of my stuff, putting them on eBay to get rid of them. And I got an email. I got a job offer, which was teaching electrical engineering and computer science in California State University, Fullerton. And for the whole first month, I was kind of doing my teaching thing until I was bored. And I was looking for another hiker, and somebody told me there is this Dr. Cutler in psychology department. He likes mountains. So I go to Jeffrey's office, and I was expecting to see pictures of mountains and stuff. You know, he likes mountains. And I see pictures of girls on the wall. He told me that 17 years ago, he went to Nepal, and he realized some of the girls disappear at a very young age, like 12. So there is this belief that men who are HIV positive, they think that if they sleep with a virgin girl, their HIVs get treated and they get well. The girls get raped, they get diseases. Even if they survive and come back to their villages, they can never have a regular life. So I'm sitting in my chair. I was about to find a hiking buddy, and I'm hearing this story. I was just so shocked. I couldn't go back to my normal life knowing this is happening on the other side of the planet. I want to do fundraising. I want to do something. I need to help them to continue their education. I don't want them to get forced to get married or get kidnapped and all that. So I was really surprised. I said, I'm going to raise $1 per foot of any mountain that I climb. And this is all from nothing. Like, I was just so moved. I couldn't keep it together. Until that day, it was all about me. I wanted to, it was just trying to accomplishing and achieving things very personally. And then it was great. It was perfect. I felt like I found it, like I found my calling. And so I trained, climbed all those list of mountains, failed a bunch of times, but I didn't care this time. This time, every time that I felt like I'm closer now. I'm learning, like I'm making mistakes. I was just much more stronger. And then it was time to climb Everest. And from the day that I said I want to climb it until the day I was on it was less than 2 years. And usually people train years and years and never climb it. But then I was just on it. And when I was climbing it and I was at 20,000 feet, the Nepal earthquake happened on April 25th, 2015. A 7.8 earthquake struck Nepal as I'm climbing an ice wall, like a huge, like 40 feet ice wall. And I was on top of the ice wall finishing up a ladder when the whole wall started shaking left and right. And it was unbelievable. And, like at that moment, I thought, have I ever got any lessons on earthquake, on a wall, on an ice wall, like, how to survive this? What do I need to do? And I didn't know what to do. I think my brain took over. Like, I kind of don't know what I did. I wasn't very conscious. I guess subconsciously I was doing things. And like I climbed up the wall, past the edge, clipped myself to the anchor. So at this point, I can't see anything. I can't even breathe. There was so much snow and debris in the air. Like any piece of ice, like a little size, could hit me and I could just fall down to a crevasse and nobody could ever find my body. But it didn't. And like pieces of ice size of a car were tumbling down the mountain. Any of them could hit us, but it didn't. We never knew that we were going to get rescued or not. I mean, we had food for 60 days, so we knew we can survive, but we were scared of aftershocks and the other like avalanches, because every hour we had an aftershock and an avalanche, an aftershock and avalanche. So I passed the edge. I was ready to die, and like they say in the movies, I saw my whole life in front of me, like all that. And then I was sad because I thought, oh, my mom would cry for years and she's gonna mourn for so many years. Why did I do this? But then there was this moment that I accepted that this is how I'm gonna go. And I was kind of ready. And as soon as I'm like, okay, this is how I'm gonna go, everything is stopped. We gathered up, we continued up. It took 7 days to rescue us with a helicopter, but finally we got rescued. And I came back down. I was extremely angry because I just raised money for the girls who continue their education. Now they lost their homes, they lost their schools. They didn't even have basic things like water and food and, basic things. And that was extremely frustrating. That day on the April 25th, 10,000 people died. So we all got very lucky. Our 300 girls in Nepal, they all survived. They lost family members, but they all survived it. It was a very tragic experience, but a very life-changing experience. I'm not gonna just go back to Everest and climb it again. I'm gonna add 6 more mountains to it. So I'm gonna climb the 7 highest peaks on 7 continents for 7 organizations who are empowering women. And if I want to give a message out in the world, if I want to leave something behind, that would be the message of we are all the same. Helping is helping. Doesn't matter who you're helping. And this is what I want to teach to my girls in Nepal. I'm very thankful that I was kind of in this process of, by force, I was growing, by declaring that I'm going to do things. And then I'm like, okay, now I said it, now I have to go do it now. And that's how I decided to climb the 7 summits. I started with Aconcagua, the highest peak in South America, 23,000 feet. First climbed Elbrus, the highest peak in Europe, in Russia. And then from there I climbed Kilimanjaro, the highest peak in Africa. Then from there I climbed the highest peak in Antarctica, which is Mount Vinson. From there I climbed the highest peak in Oceania, which is really Australia plus bunch of islands like Indonesia and those islands, which the name is Karstens Pyramids, and it's in Indonesia. And then that was the first 5, which they're great and amazing, but the 2 challenging ones are Denali and Everest. Those are the ones that kind of between the 7 summits takes the most amount of training and preparation. And I just climbed Denali, which was kind of the mountain that I was the most scared of because of the weight that we had to carry on the mountain. The rest of the mountains, weight-wise and time-wise, they are shorter. Elevation-wise, they are shorter. But Denali, it's very close to North Pole. It's extremely cold. It's very hard to access it. It's the longest elevation gain in the world. Like even Everest, the elevation gain is from 17,000 to 29, so it's only 12,000. Denali is 13,000. It's even longer than Everest in terms of the elevation gain. Like at some points we had to carry 140 pounds. For somebody my size who is 120 pounds, I had to carry 20 pounds more than my weight on the mountain. So I was extremely scared of Denali. So, on the mountains, we don't get enough nutrition usually. Like we just had to focus on receiving a lot of calories. So in preparation to get on the mountain, nutrition-wise, I really have to take care of my diet. So it's very important for me to get enough nutrition at the same time, enough calorie while I'm on the mountain. It's like fruits are the thing that is very satisfying to me. But since they are heavy, I cannot take them up in the mountain. And yes, in the boring, long trips, long expeditions, like the first 10 days is okay. But after the first 10 days, the only thing that mentally makes me happy without internet and, if I don't have my phone is food, of course. And fruits would help me. So I take a lot of dried fruits with me. And what I really liked about this mango almonds protein that you have, because I could taste the mango and I like mango and I like fruits. So the mango almond energy bar that Maud has was like my to-go happy moment. So when I was frustrated or like had a conversation with somebody about how they did something wrong on the mountain and I wanted to get over that conversation, or tired, missing family, missing my pillow, I just want to be home and sleep on a regular bed rather than ice, I would go have that mango almond and I felt like, okay, I'm good now, I can continue this for one more day, but I need more treat tomorrow. And then, something funny, today for lunch, I had the chocolate walnuts energy bar. And I'm like, this is a huge compliment. I should tell this to them because, I had it 14 days in a row, sometimes 4 of them in one day. And now I have the option to go eat anything that I want to anywhere. And I'm still having that chocolate walnut for lunch. That says something. We have rest days and we have practice days, which are kind of mellower days. But the days that we were supposed to walk, and it's a walking days, like climb days, usually 7-8 hours minimum. A summit day is 13-14 hours minimum. What's very interesting is that every single summit has been different. It's not a same emotion on all the summits. When the guide said we are an hour from the summit, I knew that I made it. But you still have, that's 90%. You still have that 10%. What if somebody else on my rope doesn't have that energy? Because if they decide to do something different, my life, that the whole thing changes. And I have to go back down with them. Maybe I have to wait here for an hour for them to recover. What if something happens to him or him, So you don't know until you're standing on the summit. But on Denali, when the guide said we are 20 minutes away, I looked back at the rope and I saw everybody else is doing well. So I knew everybody can make it to the summit because nobody's on their knees or nobody's crying or anything. So we're going to make it. I started sobbing. I just couldn't keep it together. And, at 20,000 feet, because Denali is 20,300, so I was like at 20,000 feet when this happened. So at 20,000 feet, I'm not getting enough oxygen. I'm supposed to breathe instead of crying. I'm supposed to save all the water because I'm already very dehydrated, and I'm sobbing. I couldn't even keep it together. I was just so excited. I felt like all those days, like twice a day, that I was carrying that heavy pack that I hated so much. I couldn't even lift it up from the ground, and somehow I managed to put it on my back and walk with it, and then go on the treadmill with it and go hiking with it. I couldn't believe all that work I was getting, it's paying back. And one thing about Denali was it was extremely satisfying. I was just so proud of the body for performing so well. I was so proud of mentally convincing myself to do all that. And at the same time, I was in awe of the beauty. Like from the summit of Denali, what I saw, I've never seen anywhere else. The fact that I felt so fortunate that I'm standing here and I had the opportunity to see this view, and I was naming like people around me because I kind of wanted them to see it too. I'm like, I don't want to just see it myself. I wish my mom could be here, and I know my mom would be never on summit of Denali, but I'm like, if I say her name, like I'm seeing it for her too. We were up there for 5 minutes. It's the coldest part of the mountain. It's the windiest part of the mountain. It's the most dangerous and then you still have hours of walking down. So you kind of don't want to waste any energy up there. I just had an energy bar, very quick, the chocolate one. And then I just walked down. Since I'm new back from Denali, I feel like I'm recovering right now. I don't want to plan anything, and still in a recovery mode. I'm sure I have to train like crazy, and my training would be very different from the other mountains because this is the longest 60 days. And I'm sure one of the things that I would love to do is take all the banner of all the 7 organizations that I've been helping in the past few years, all of them to the top rather than just one of them. So and I'm sure I'm gonna do a bunch of things, but I still haven't planned it. It's too early. I'll tell you when I have it. But one thing that I want to mention is that our society, media, is giving us a picture of a person to be and a way of being which might be much more limited compared to what we really can be. And I want young people to try to break that. Like try to not only see themselves as what society and the media or friends or family or background or nationality is giving to them. That's limited. That's small. We are way much more bigger than that. We are capable of so many things. We are very powerful. We have so many strengths that we never tap into until we die. We have no idea what we are capable of until you try it. So try new things. Even the things that you hate and you don't like and you know you're not good at, try new things. That's it.